Tonight, an about-face on U.S. border policy.
There's a sense of unrest.
President Biden's new executive actions promising sweeping immigration changes, including a plan to reunite separated children from their parents. Plus, the next steps on COVID relief.
Is it worth working together, or are they going to set a precedent of just going through on their own?
Can there be compromise after what Republicans and the White House described as a substantive meeting?
If you can't find bipartisanship on COVID-19, I don't know where you can find it.
Plus, it's Groundhog's Day and the verdict's in. Is spring around the corner, or is the latest winter blast a signal of what's in store? All this and more tonight on Faith Nation.
A White House rollback on immigration. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Faith Nation. I'm Jenna Browder.
And good evening. I'm John Jessup. Immigration reform was at the heart of President Biden's agenda today as he signed several executive orders on the matter.
They're aimed at undoing policy put in place by the previous administration. CBN's Eric Phillips joins us tonight with our top story. Eric?
Jenna, John, the president's priority highlighted during his campaign is to reunite immigrant families separated under the Trump administration's zero-tolerance policy.
That executive order creates a task force that would identify separated children in the U.S. and find their parents spread across Latin America where they were likely deported. There are some 600 parentless children here, according to the ACLU. Jim Daly with Focus on the Family calls it a step in the right direction.
I think it's good for the U.S. government to try to keep those families together. I was a foster care child. I know what it means to be separated from your family, and that's a scary time for a child.
A second executive order directs Homeland Security to review the Trump Remain in Mexico policy. It restricts those seeking asylum from crossing the border while they wait for their cases to be decided. Monday, the White House asked the Supreme Court to cancel upcoming arguments on the legality of the program, arguing it leaves asylum seekers in potential danger. Sister Norma Pimentel is with Catholic Charities of the Rio Grande Valley.
Yes, it's important to keep our country safe, to know who enters our country, but we also must not lose our humanity in the process of doing that.
The Biden administration is proposing sweeping immigration reform that would provide a path to citizenship for millions of undocumented immigrants and dreamers, those brought to the U.S. illegally as children. The administration is moving carefully, however, so it doesn't encourage any mass migration in these COVID times, flooding borders where some families have been waiting a year or more to enter the country.
And so it's sad to see their anguish, and at the same time trying to encourage them to have patience and to be calm and not to lose heart, because I'm hopeful for them, and maybe I know the new administration is offering possibilities of how things can move forward in their favor.
Then I hope we as an American nation can actually secure the borders and do the things to put people in line who want to get here.
Won't come easy for the Biden administration. Many were enacted under regulation, and therefore it will likely take months to go back and undo what's already been done. John and Jenna.
All right, thank you. CBN's Eric Phillips. Well, along the same lines, a federal judge blocked President Biden's 100-day moratorium on deportations after a challenge from the state of Texas. Still, migrants are flooding the U.S. southern border all the same. As CBN contributing correspondent Chuck Holton reports, they're hopeful the new president will keep his promise to dismantle his predecessor's policies.
This is downtown Juarez, Mexico, and the square here in the city center is full of people, but many of these people are not Mexican. They're from all over Central America and even as far away as Africa and the Middle East. They're here because they're under the Remain in Mexico policy that was started under President Donald Trump. That policy is likely to be going away very soon, but so far, these people are still stuck here on the Mexican side of the border. Many of these migrants have been waiting here in Juarez for more than a year to have an asylum hearing in the United States. The fact that they were not being allowed to live in the U.S. while they wait for a decision on their cases has had a tremendous chilling effect on the number of migrants willing to make the journey.
The numbers are picking up greatly again. Now they're catching anywhere from, 30 to 70 a night. And the ones that are coming over, they're not just giving up. They're aggressively resisting. They're physically resisting. A lot of them are having to be handcuffed and stuff like that now.
So this mountainside behind me is where many of the migrants are crossing now, because it's one of the few places near El Paso that doesn't have a massive fence. So since the We Build the Wall project went up here, made it a lot more difficult for these migrants to just cross right through what used to be called the tortilla curtain. Now they go up this mountain behind me, cross over the ridge, and come down this footpath I'm standing on right now. Sure enough, just a few moments later on the backside of the same mountain, a group of 6 Honduran and Cuban men were apprehended trying to cross into the United States. But there's a twist. They were not arrested by U.S. agents. Rather, the Mexican army detained them before they could cross. A Mexican immigration officer explained their country is still abiding by the agreements made with the Trump administration, and Border Patrol in the United States told us they're very thankful Mexico is staying true to its word to help reduce illegal immigration. But with the Biden administration committed to reversing the policies of his predecessor as soon as possible, it's likely many more migrants will be crossing this barrier very soon. From the U.S.-Mexican border, I'm Chuck Holtman for CBN News.
Well, $1.9 trillion, John, that is a hefty price tag on President Biden's COVID relief plan. And it's a huge roadblock for Republicans, even after their White House meeting with the president yesterday.
That's right, Jenna. While both sides called it productive, neither side appears to be budging.
Thank you, folks.
A show of bipartisanship inside the Oval Office. The 2-hour meeting between President Biden and 10 GOP senators ending with no deal, but an agreement to keep the conversation going.
We're very appreciative that as his first official meeting in the Oval Office, the president chose to spend so much time with us.
The biggest roadblock is the price tag. President Biden wants $1.9 trillion for his plan. Republicans, $600 billion. Biden's plan calls for $1,400 checks for most Americans. Republicans want to cut that figure to $1,000 and send checks to only lower-income Americans. Another item on the Democrat plan, a gradual increase to the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. But there is some common ground. Both sides would like to see $160 billion for vaccines and testing. With control of the White House and both chambers of Congress, the ball is in Democrats' court, though their majority in the House is margin thin, and in the Senate split 50-50. CBN chief political analyst David Brody says it could all come down to a power group of centrist senators.
The last time I checked, Joe Manchin's a Democrat, which means the Democrats are going to need his vote, along with Kyrsten Sinema, another center-left senator, and John Tester as well, another center-left Democrat. So there's no guarantee that they're going to get all 50 Democrats to pass through something on budget reconciliation. So there is a gamble here.
Meanwhile, January marked the deadliest month on record for COVID, and the spread of new, more contagious variants threatens a new surge. The CDC says only 8% of Americans have been vaccinated. That process now slowed by the massive Northeast snowstorm.
You're all set, okay? You can come right in.
At Boston's Fenway Park, seniors piled in for their vaccines Monday.
Well, that's why we're here so early.
Some encouraging news. There is some encouraging news. Hospitalizations appear to be dropping. 38 states have at least 10% fewer people in hospital beds this week compared to last week.
Well, joining us now with more is CBN medical reporter Lori Johnson. Lori, we just saw this afternoon that the federal government is providing vaccines to neighborhood pharmacies. How does that change the vaccination landscape?
Well, John, it's a great step. This is something that the President Trump administration started, and now the Biden administration is fulfilling. They announced today that starting next Thursday, February 11th, the administration is sending out vaccines directly to neighborhood pharmacies, over 6,000 pharmacies nationwide. The catch, though, is they're only sending out a total of 1 million vaccines. That's barely a drop in the bucket, but hey, it's better than nothing, and the administration is promising more. They were not very specific on that. And also it planned to expand the number of pharmacies to over 10,000. This is so important because 90% of Americans live within 5 miles of a pharmacy, and so many people, particularly seniors, are used to going to their neighborhood pharmacy to get their flu or their shingles vaccine. So this is great news. It still does not solve the problem of the minorities, particularly low-income minorities who live in what we call these pharmacy deserts. Inner city areas where a pharmacy is not within 5 miles and they do not have reliable transportation. So that we still have a ways to go to getting to the pharmacies and to people who need these vaccines most.
And Lori, to your point, we know there is a huge demand and the supply is not there to keep up with that. What can be done to fix that, or what is being done?
Well, once again, the Biden administration announced some good news on the vaccine front, but when you look at the numbers, it's not much more, but hey, it's better than nothing. So they now announced that they're going to be distributing 10.5 million vaccines to all 50 states per week. Remember, last week they announced a 16% increase from 8.4 million to 10 million. Today they said now they're going from 10 million to 10.5 million. So that's an additional 500,000 vaccines for the entire country. And this is separate and apart, by the way, from the pharmacy allocation, which is 1 million. So it's a step in the right direction, but we do need more. And the Biden administration acknowledges that.
All right. Lori Johnson, thank you so much. It's good to see you. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lori. Well, it is being called the Marathon Nor'easter. Round 1 slammed early Monday morning, bringing up to 3 feet of snow in some areas along the Northeast. But it's not over yet. Round 2 could bring another 3 inches for parts of New Jersey, New York, and New England. Caitlin Burke reports from Connecticut.
States of emergency remain in effect across the Northeast as round 2 of a massive nor'easter brings more snow and wind. For people in the path, the advice is simple: stay put.
If you must be out, please, God, be careful. But if you don't need to be out, do not go out.
Plow trucks race against time to clear roads, but many streets remain impassable.
It's not over. We got a long way to go. Stay off the streets.
Eleanor is just a little bit over 2 feet tall. So as you can see, we've got over a foot of snow on the ground here and more on the way.
I know more is coming, so I'm just doing this in shifts because I think we're going to get a few more inches. And the heavier it gets, the harder it is to use the snowblowers.
Crews are working hard to clear airport runways, but high winds could keep planes grounded. And that includes cargo flights carrying desperately needed vaccines. Newly opened vaccination sites are also closed in major cities from Philadelphia to New York and across New Jersey.
Obviously, the first thing to say is that the storm is disrupting our vaccination effort, and we need to keep people safe.
Appropriately, on this very snowy Groundhog's Day, the official prediction from Punxsutawney Phil, 6 more weeks of winter. Caitlin Burke, CBN News.
All right. Thank you, Caitlin. And coming up, the new administration and religious freedom abroad. Will it be a priority?
Hey, if you're tired and exhausted all day, you can't think clearly, and you really just need a cup or even a pot of coffee to get through your day, then join me, Dr. Josh Axe, for this new series where I'm going to teach you how to transform your diet and use essential oils and supplements to get a better night's sleep.
Wake up to your best life. Call 1-800-700-7000 to get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep today.
It's about the competition.
I kind of put that pressure on myself, and I think people had expectations.
It's about overcoming.
We use this phrase all the time: keep chopping, keep practicing hard.
It's about going the distance.
I think as a father, it's my job, to lead, just be the best husband and father I can be.
Watch Going the Distance with Sean Brown Saturday night at 7:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Or
Orphans Promise is committed to loving and serving at-risk children, to helping keep families together, and to creating opportunities for strong and sustainable communities around the world. We're working in over 60 countries around the world, and with your help, we can do even more. There's an old African proverb I love that says, if you want to run fast, run alone. But if you want to run far, run together. At Orphans Promise, we want to run far so we can touch the lives of as many orphaned and vulnerable children as possible. But we don't want to go alone. We're out to change the world, one child, one family, one community at a time. Will you join us?
Welcome back. Well, one of the ways President Biden will put his stamp on the executive branch is by making thousands of appointments to positions that span the work of the U.S. government.
That's right, Jenna, including those that play a big role in how the United States promotes religious freedom abroad. Here's CBN's Jennifer Wishon with more on that.
Promoting religious freedom abroad is an American value. It's an important part of American diplomacy, and a number of these positions the president needs to fill help America achieve that goal. And for more on these vacancies, we turn to Anyarima Bhargava, who serves as vice chair on the Commission for International Religious Freedom. Commissioner, thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me, Jennifer.
So how many positions are we talking about that President Biden needs to fill that have the responsibility of implementing the U.S. policy of promoting religious freedom abroad?
So I think there's a number of positions that might fall under those that actually impact religious freedom and our engagement on those issues. I do want to talk about a few of those, the main ones. First and foremost, at the State Department is the ambassador at large for religious freedom. And that position, along with a position that had not been filled for a while, but is important, is a special advisor for international religious freedom at the National Security Council. So those two positions, plus the president actually gets to appoint 3 of the commissioners to the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom, where I serve.
You mentioned the ambassador at large for international religious freedom, most recently filled by Sam Brownback. This is a very visible position, as you point out. Do you have any idea if the Biden administration has any candidates for this position?
I'm sure the Biden administration has candidates. There are wonderful people who could serve in this position, who I think would really reflect the ways in which we've seen religious freedom issues come to the fore in the last couple of years, and continue the work of the previous administration on lifting up religious persecution and violence around the world. And so we are going to urge and have urged the administration to think of that position and filling it as a priority to make sure that we have, particularly right now where we're seeing the ramp up on religious persecution and violence in many places, that we have someone in place who can really lead that work from the administration.
And I know there's a lot of pressure on the administration. The president has nearly 4,000 appointments to make. So there's a lot of people that he's dealing with right now. You know, I know the Trump administration took the long advice of the commission and elevated someone to the National Security Council, as you pointed out, to advise the president on international religious freedom issues. Give us a sense of why that was such a big deal and why it's so important for the Biden administration to do the same there.
So I think it's important to have someone who is thinking about the ways in which religious persecution and violence are taking place around the world as part of our national security team, as part of that team within the White House, who can then work with the State Department and can work across many different agencies on how we actually ensure that religious freedom is part of the ways in which we think about our own security, our own safety, but certainly the safety and security of communities around the world as well.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing who fills all these positions. I know you will too, and we so appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, Jennifer. Up next, why one filmmaker calls the violence in Chicago America's hidden war. More on his timely documentary when Faith Nation returns.
Daddy?
Yeah, buddy.
How many nickels are in a dollar?
There are 20 nickels in a dollar.
How do birds fly? Does milk really make my bones stronger?
Yeah.
Daddy, when we die, will we go to heaven?
Do you have the answer to life's biggest question? Call the 700 Club. We'll help you find answers to the important questions life brings your way.
Watch breaking news, in-depth exclusive stories and programs from health to entertainment you won't find anywhere else. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Enjoy credible news reporting from around the world. Discover inspiring programs and stories of hope, all in one place from a Christian perspective. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. To watch the CBN News Channel, download the app or visit cbnnewschannel.com.
Hello, I'm Dr. David Perlmutter, board-certified neurologist and #1 New York Times bestselling author. Wouldn't it be great to boost your energy, eliminate brain fog, and even reverse brain disease? Well, you can, and I'm going to show you how, along with some of the world's most well-respected brain experts in this DVD, Protect Your Brain.
Get Protect Your Brain, a free DVD only from the Christian Broadcasting Network, featuring experts on the cutting edge of neuroscience and brain health.
No matter how many times you've failed in the past, you really can do this.
In Protect Your Brain, you'll discover simple strategies to keep your brain young and healthy. Improve your memory. Discover the gut-brain connection. In Protect Your Brain, get your free copy at cbn.com or call 1-800-700-7000.
If you want to improve the quality of your life, get the DVD Protect Your Brain and get it today.
Murder rates saw a historic increase in 2020 compared to 2019. That's according to a report from the National Commission of COVID-19 and Criminal Justice. Experts analyzed the data from as many as 34 U.S. cities and found homicide rates jumped by 30%. Motor vehicle thefts, gun assaults, and aggravated assaults also rose in 2020. Burglaries and robberies did decrease during the pandemic.
Well, gun violence in Chicago has also been spiraling out of control. The city closed out January with 51 homicides, making it the deadliest start to the new year in 4 years.
But one filmmaker says this is not just Chicago's problem, but America's problem. And he's on a mission to shed light and see change in the city. Filmmaker Dimas Salaberios joins us now. Dimas, it's good to have you with us this evening. You know, in Chicago, there were 278 more murders last year, a 55% increase. You were there to try to help stop that violence. Who and what is behind all of this crime there?
You know, it is very, very complicated what's going on in Chicago. But I would say the #1 thing that we found when we were on the ground making our film, Chicago, America's Hidden War, is that the big problem is unforgiveness. And the church, by going on the ground from 2018 to 2019, the whole summer after the church joined us with thousands going out, homicides dropped by 20%. So we know, and the data shows, that the church is the answer. And in our film, Chicago, America's Hidden War, which is right now on the Oscars list, which we can't believe, it's just moving our hearts in such a great way, because sometimes when we see the church and it's depicted in Hollywood, it shows us in such ignorant ways. But this film shows guns being turned into pastors, people being baptized and quitting gangs.
Wow.
So we're just honored to say, you know, the church is the answer and we can bring the homicides down, but we got to stay out there.
The power of the church on the move in the community. And congratulations, Dimas, on that Oscar nomination. You documented your time in the city by making this film called Chicago, America's Hidden War. It's now up, as we were just talking about, for that Oscar consideration. Talk about the impact of what you saw and what you were able to capture in your film.
You know, we were walking through the streets. We asked for the addresses of the most dangerous blocks in Chicago. And we remember we met this little kid, you know, his name was Quincy, who was sleeping under his bed. He said his house had bullet holes in it. He's seen bullets fly everywhere. We talked to another kid who was around 9 years old. He said, I watched in front of my face my cousin get beat up and shot twice and killed. Then the killer came back and shot him again. He said, I can never forget these things. So in this film, we are showing, it's like guerrilla type of journalism, showing what these people are experiencing, what people are feeling, what they're going through, even hearing from the perspective of police, how hard their job is and how difficult it is. So we don't go and try to land on any side. We let the city speak and share their voices, and we're asking the Christian community to move from apathy to empathy and not just look at politics, because that misses the point, but we have to all say it's not just Chicago's war, but this is our war. And we're going to pray for Chicago. We're going to help Chicago, because so many innocent lives, no kids should have to live like that, sleeping under their beds.
Yeah.
All right, Dimas Salabarios, thank you so much for your time, and we wish you all the best with that Oscar nomination.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And still ahead, it's Groundhog's Day, Punxsutawney Phil's prediction.
I am Regent's first ROTC graduate student.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm Ephraim Graham. Welcome to Studio 5.
Get on it.
All that's new and now in the world of uplifting entertainment with celebrity interviews.
There's a higher contribution I will make.
Musical performances. I'll give you my best praise. Plus movie and TV news.
See it and be uplifted.
On Studio 5. Every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern at cbn.com/Studio 5.
How'd you like to get a redo on your health, on your body, on your arteries, so you could have the energy you had 20 years ago? The great news is you can. I'm Dr. Mike Roizen, chair of the Wellness Institute at the Cleveland Clinic. I've written 4 New York Times bestsellers. But even better than having to read all that, you can listen to this DVD and watch it. Protect your heart? Yes, you can. Here's how.
Go to cbn.com or call 1-800-700-7000 for your free copy of Protect Your Heart. Let the medical experts show you their new discoveries on how to avoid heart disease and even reverse it. Easy steps to uncover the hidden dangers in your medicine cabinet, reduce stress, and get a complete do-over for your health. Call 1-800-700-7000. That's 1-800-700-7000. Or go to cbn.com to claim your free copy of Protect Your Heart.
Finally, tonight, with much of the nation under winter warnings and watches, Punxsutawney Phil, the perennial prognosticator, confirmed it this morning. Winter is here to stay.
Yeah, not snow, not rain, nor a pandemic could keep him from emerging from his burrow to forecast winter's end. Phil made his annual appearance at Gobbler's Knob in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, and he did indeed spot his shadow, meaning John's 6 more weeks of winter.
What a bummer.
Love it or hate it. That's what Phil says.
Well, that's going to do it for tonight's Faith Nation.
Have a great evening. Stay warm.